Janturvacha Tasyopasannam abitam jagadichayata Tasyopasannam abitam jagadichayata Tasyopasannam abitam jagadichayata Nana Tanorbhuvi Chalacharnarabindam Nana Tanorbhuvi Chalacharnarabindam Soham Brajami Sharanam Hyakuto Bhayame Soham Brajami Sharanam Hyakuto Bhayame Yana Drishir Gatir Adarshyaton Rupa Yena Drishi Gatir Adarasya Saton Rupa Yena Drishi Gatir Adarasya Saton Rupa Ena Drishi Gatir Adarasya Saton Rupa Ena Drishi Gatiradasya Saton Rupa Ena Drishi Gatiradasya Saton Rupa Somebody can do it.
Janturvacha Tasyopasanam avitum jagat ichayata Nana Tanurgu Vichalaccharanarvindam Rajami Sharanam Hiyakuto Bhayam Me Shri Gati Adrishe Asato Nurupa Janturvacha Tasyopasanamavitum Jagadichayata Tanormuvichalaccharanarvindam Soham Rajami Sharanam Yakuto Bhayam Me Yene Drishigati Radar Yasato Nurupa
The human soul says, Tasya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Upasannam, having approached for protection, Avitum, to protect, Jagat, the universe, Chaya, by his own will, Atananatano, who accepts various forms, Bhuvi, on the earth, Chalat, walking, Charanaravindam, the lotus feet. Sa aham, I myself. Vrajami, go. Sharanam, unto the shelter. He, indeed. Akutah bayam, giving relief from all fear. Me, for me. Ena, by whom. Idrishi, such. Gatihi, condition of life. Adarshi was considered asataha, impious, anurupa, befitting. Translation. Like Vaishnava Prabhupada ki jai. The human soul says, I take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in his various eternal forms and walks on the surface of the world. I take shelter of him only because he can give me relief from all fear, and from him I have received this condition of life, which is just befitting my impious activities. Hare Krishna. Purport. The word Chalacharana Ravindam refers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who actually walks or travels upon the surface of this world, of the world. For example, Lord Ramchandra actually walked on the surface of the world. Lord Krishna also walked just like an ordinary man. The prayer is therefore offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who descends to the surface of this earth or any part of this universe for the protection of the pious and the destruction of the impious. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that when there is an increase of irreligion and discrepancies arise in the real religious duties, the Supreme Lord comes to protect the pious and kill the impious. This verse indicates Lord Krishna. Another significant point in this verse is that the Lord comes ichaya by his own will. As Krishna confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Sambhavami Atmamaya, I appear at my will by my internal potency. It is not forced to come by the laws of material nature. It is stated here, Ichaya. It does not assume any form, as impersonalists think, because he comes at his own will, and the form in which he descends is his eternal form. As the Supreme Lord puts the living entity into the condition of the horrible existence, he can also deliver him, and therefore one should seek the shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna demands, give up everything and surrender unto me. And it is also said in Bhagavad Gita that anyone who who approaches him does not come back again to accept a form in the middle existence, but goes back to Godhead, back home, never to return. I neither have any qualification to speak on this verse on the disappearance and the unboxings of Thakur. I seek blessings of practically everyone. Hare Krishna. Actually, there is a video by Bhakti BI on this. We should all see that video actually. I showed to many times, many people. Some of you might have watched, but some of you might not have watched it actually. Bhaktivedanta Institute, exactly based on these verses, starting every verse they spoke. I mean, the video is shown. How many of you watched? How many of you didn't watch? Okay, very nice actually, very wonderful. Everyone should see that. I have it actually. Yesterday night also I showed it to, somebody. So, very interesting. Actually, I didn't even look at the verse until I came here because Shamshi told me we should speak on Saraswati Thakur disappearance day. The human being, instead they said Janturuvacha. Animals are two types, Dipada, Chatushpada, two-legged and four-legged. Nowhere it is written human being. Not like human, like in species are three types, two-legged, four-legged and humans. No. Two-legged and four-legged, that's it. Dipada Pasu means human being, a person who focuses only on eating, eating, sleeping, and defending. But the person who focuses on higher things is considered human being. Only one reason, when, not which temples you visit. Straight inquiry. A person who is inquiring, that person is considered, Dharmo hi tesham adhiko visesham dharmena hi na pasui samana. If that inquiry is not there, he is equal to animal. One should not become proud because, no, I am inquiring. But am I following or not? I am not following, then one should become humble. That's it. So because somebody may be chanting for a very long time, but the process is very slow. The process is slow, not for anybody because of the Kali Yuga categories. You know, Sanair Uparatam, those verses I forgot in Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter. The process slowly, but steadily. Whatever you have gone, like, from here you have gone to Toledo means you don't need to come back. From Toledo you have gone to Cleveland, you don't need to come back. Further you'll go like that if destination is Radha Vrindavan Chandra. So if you understand that one has to with patience, very important thing is patience actually. So that is the worry for all the gurus. One time I recently was thinking why we are not even aware of this. We don't know when we'll hit the success, what will happen. So no, Krishna, he stays behind, no doubt. But what he does, he sends his what is that? He sends his representatives only so that we can take the process seriously. Such a guru is Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Trust me, I definitely, I felt shy to sit here and speak like that. Saraswati Thakur appeared in 1874, February 6th, and his father was a Mahabhagavad devotee, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Kamala Manjari, under Kamala Manjari. And he prayed when he saw in the name of Lord Chaitanya, in this Gaudiya Vaishnavism, there are so many Apasampradaya, 15, 14 or 15 Apasampradayas. And what he did, he prayed intensely to Jagannath Swami, my Lord, please, send me a ray of Vishnu. And like, answering his prayers, Saraswati Thakur was born actually, So 6 months after he was born, the Annaprasana was held and he touched Srimad Bhagavatam, indicating his future profession. So during Rath Yatra, so Jagannath cart stopped in front of their home for 3 days. So Mother Bhagavati Devi, the mother of Bhaktivedanta Thakur, took her this opportunity and placed the child at the feet of Jagannath Swami. The child immediately, stretched his hand to touch the feet of Jagannath Swami. Immediately the garland fell on around the neck of Saraswati Thakur. That's when they understood, that's when Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood his prayers were answered. He was born with umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, appearing like a Brahman thread, showing, he also exhibited 32 symptoms of Mahabhagavad devotee. And he was given the name Vimala Prasad, So the mother, straight instruction for the mother actually. The mother, she never allowed children, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 10 children actually, never allowed any children to eat anything other than prasad. She made it a rule. She made sure children eat only prasad. And she never allowed the children to mix with outsiders, non-devotees. Hare Krishna. And because that was the rule, they strictly followed it actually. Bhaktivinoda Thakur being a magistrate, also busy, but also his name is famous in Bengal for having written more than 100 books on Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Only one line I want to tell about Bhaktivinoda Thakur is Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to establish this pure teachings of bhakti. So he felt he needed a position. For that, he wrote 14 times civil exams, civil services. And Britishers those days were very scared of educated Indians. So continuously they failed him. But he also did not give it up. So one day he went and told Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, who was very well connected with British. He told him, look, they are thinking I'm trying to create a revolution. That's why they're not passing me. I'm not trying to create that type of revolution. They are thinking, but I want to create a spiritual revolution. So tell them I'm not a what is that? Pain in the neck of British. So Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar told, and 15th time he cleared the civils. That's when he became a magistrate. Actually, one position below Governor General, actually. So that position he used to propagate Krishna consciousness. So one day, when he brought mangoes, this 4-year-old boy, Sir Vimal Prasad, he tried to eat that. So the father mildly rebuked him. Did you ever eat? How can you say you will eat when it is not even offered to Krishna? Then that's it. Saraswati could never eat ripened mango in his life for the rest of the life. Whenever somebody whenever somebody would present him a mango, he would say, I'm an offender. Please take it out. So he never ate ripened mango in his life, actually. By age 7, he memorized the entire Bhagavad Gita slokas, and he knew all the 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. And that's when Bhaktivinoda Thakur started teaching this, Vimal Prasad Saraswati Thakur in printing and publishing. Also, he taught him how to write articles in Sajjana Toshani. And so they were actually, they want to build Bhakti Bhavan. So he started, he started the construction. During the construction, they unearthed the deity Kurmadev. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave that Kurmadev deity to Saraswati Thakur to worship. And Saraswati Thakur started worshipping that Kurmadev. You all should know, if anyone wants stability in the life, should worship Govardhan, Kurmadev. They will offer stability in our life. So many problems, then this Govardhan is recommended. Govardhan worship is recommended. Also Kurmadev. And when he was studying 5th grade, he, stenography, similar to stenography, he invented a writing method called Bicanto. And 1892, he was admitted to Sanskrit College. And 1897, he started his own school called Chatushpati. And by the time he became 25 years, he became a scholar in English, mathematics, and astronomy. They found him so good with astrology and astronomy. They offered him a position of a chair in Calcutta University, which he refused. He said, no, I don't want to do that. And what is that? Around 1899, 98, he traveled with his father to the different holy place of pilgrimage. And he happened to have a conversation with one Sri Sampradaya person, and that's when he changed. And he has a desire for renunciation grew. 1899 and to 1900, he went to on his father's encouragement. He went to take initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was very accomplished Siddha, and every time he would approach, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj would say, "Come later. I have to ask. I have to ask. Patita Pavan Gaur Hari." So next time he went, did you ask him? No, did you speak to him? As I spoke to him. Did you ask about my initiation? I forgot. Every time he would say, I spoke to Gaur Hari, but I forgot. So one time he said, Bhakti is, Gaur Hari said, Bhakti is more important than scholarly ability. Okay, then But Saraswati Thakur said Ramanacharya waited 18 times. I have no problem waiting. But he pursued and he patient with patience. Then when on the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, eventually Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj initiated him actually and gave him the name. What is the name? Varshabhanavi Devidas. David, no, Varshabhanavi Daita. Varshabhanavi Devi Daita Das, yes, So that is the name he got. And then 1905, he decided to chant this 1 billion names near Lord Chaitanya's birthplace in Mayapur. And he chanted 100 crore names actually. So that time there was a cyclone and the roof flew off. And if he had to repair that, then he would not finish this rounds. So what he did, without being disturbed with that umbrella, he continued chanting in that storm and he finished his rounds. And what is that? In 1912, he was invited to give lectures on Bhakti by Maharaj of Kasim Bajar. And he went actually Mayapur. He lectured for 4 days. But when he saw so many sahajas being present, he didn't eat there for 4 days. So continuously he did not eat for 4 days. When he came, sorry. Then he came back to Mayapur actually, Then the king came and offered apologies actually. So when he saw, he was surrounded, the world was filled with Apasampradayas, these 14 Apasampradayas, he became so frustrated and he closed himself to the rest of the world and he started chanting. That's when one day he had a dream of Lord Chaitanya. Actually, Lord Chaitanya and Shat Goswamis appeared in his vision. It's not dream. Actually, they said, don't worry about the surroundings. You aggressively, you preach, you just do your job. So then, then he started preaching, aggressively actually. And 1911, there was a problem that arose between Brahmins and Vaishnavas. So the Smartas, they say, by birth decides everything, and Brahmana is higher than anybody, including Vaishnava. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very sick, and he told, so he was invited, so because of his sickness, he couldn't go. So Saraswati Thakur wrote an article, and he showed it to his father, and Saraswati Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, great. So he asked him to present this. So initially what he did, he went and first he glorified Brahmins. When he glorified Brahmins were very happy. They were so happy that the person from the other side has come to this side. They were very happy. Then Saraswati Thakur started quoting, actually he said Brahmanas means the highest order of Varnashram. Brahmana means the highest order of Varnashram. And Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, the qualities of Brahmana, he quoted from Bhagavad Gita and Shastras. They were so impressed, for his scholarly ability. And so he kept on glorifying Brahmins. Then he said, Vaishnava doesn't belong to this world. Vaishnava doesn't belong to this world, and wherever, because he keeps Krishna's lotus feet in his heart and travels, he's actually a mobile pilgrimage, walking pilgrimage. And Vaishnava does not belong to Varnashram Dharma, and anybody can become Vaishnava by the mercy of Guru. The way bell metal coming in contact with mercury generates gold. Guru has that ability. And he started quoting these people who were present. They never heard this type of things. They were so impressed. Everyone was so impressed because first he glorified Brahmins, then he established the position of Vaishnava higher than Brahmana. The devotees present there caught Saraswati Thakur, forcefully put his feet in the bucket of water and washed his feet, and they sprinkled that water on the heads of everyone present there actually. So in 1914, Bhakti Vinod Thakur disappeared. And he told, before disappearing from this world, he told his son, preach the message of pure message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. A few years later, his mother also disappeared, making the same request for him. And actually, 1 year later, of 1915, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj also disappeared. With the loss of his father and Guru spiritual master, Saraswati was very depressed. And he started for Nirjana Bhajana. I have no money, I don't have any, I don't have people to preach to. How do I do that? So again, one day, Lord Chaitanya appeared in his dream with all the associates, Parshads, and said, we will send money from Vaikuntha, you continue preaching. Wow. So then he started it. One story, this, what is that? Kunja Vihari Vidyabhushan. He was actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur follower. So ever since Bhaktivinoda Thakur left the world, there was no preaching. So he came from Calcutta and he went, I want to help somebody. Is there anybody in Mayapur who can preach the message of pure message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Everyone said there is only one person. He'll come in the evening and you go and he's the one person capable of taking this message forward. So in the evening, where is he? In the evening, he comes to the bank of Ganga. So this Kunjavari Devushan was waiting. Suddenly, Saraswati Thakur appeared, very thin, very lean, and with all the austerities. Suddenly he came and he raised his arms, raising his arms up in the air. He ran and jumped in the waters. Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari, Gaur Hari. So when he said that, then he went to him and said, I want to assist. Everyone is telling your name, I want to assist you. He said, who are you to assist me? Who are you to spread the, Krishna consciousness? And he raised his arms up in the air and he showed in the horizon. They will, Panchatattva, they will preach. And he showed like this. Kunjavari thought, he is a crazy person. And everyone is telling his name, he is crazy. And he was so disheartened, he went back. But one day somebody knocked at his door. He opened the door, same person, cleanly shaven, and Saraswati Thakur. There is not so much time left, So come, let us preach. They registered Gaudiya Math on the same day, actually. So less than 24 hours. So he eventually became Bhaktivilas Tirtha Maharaj. So anyway, what is that? So 1918, he took a Diksha. He put the picture of Saraswati Thakur. Sorry, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. He felt there is nobody, you need to take sannyas from a sannyasi. Guru Maharaj was not there. Actually, what he did was revolutionary those days. So you need to be, you need to take sannyas from a sannyasi. So he felt there is nobody qualified to take sannyas. So he put the picture of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj and he took sannyas himself and became Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Actually, in the childhood, because of his scholarly erudition, they gave him, he postulated Surya Siddhanta. They called him, they gave this title Saraswati, So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati title was given to him. And childhood, he saved his brother from Vaishnava Prad. I think his brother, Annada Prasad. In his childhood, he was very sick. Saraswati Thakur, very sick, and he started chanting the holy name. He started chanting the holy name, and so immediately this brother started getting a lot of headaches, and his body started failing. But as Saraswati Thakur started chanting Hare Krishna mantra, and a Vaishnava tilak appeared on his forehead, and he said in the previous life, was actually, from Ramana Sampradaya. Because he offended Saraswati Thakur, he, had to take birth again. And Saraswati Thakur saved him from the Vaishnava Parad. So he left the world very peacefully because of the chanting of Saraswati Thakur actually. And he was a Simha Guru. He had no problem. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur would make friends with everyone because he had a mission of establishing Vaishnavism. But Saraswati Thakur is not like that. Like, wow, he is very, very bold, and he would not leave anybody. That was his demeanor from childhood, So nobody was left. He did not spare anybody actually. Bhaktivinoda Thakur made good friendship with Rama. What is it? Rajaram Mohan Rai. What do you call it? So, he abolished sati, having joined hands with British, and being a magistrate, Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a good relationship with Rajaram Mohan Rai because they were very famous those days. So one day, he came and Bhaktivinoda Thakur introduced, this my son, and Saraswati Thakur ripped him off actually. So literally, because their goal is very clear, Shuddha Bhakti, pure Bhakti, nothing else. One day Subhash Chandra Bose came and said, you have 200 brahmacharis, why don't you give them? I will use them, I'll fight, I'm fighting against British. And, help me. Saraswati Thakur said, do you know this verse? Antikalanch Mahava? Very interesting. Subhash Chandra Bose said, I knew the verse. What is that? I told. So you are so much absorbed in fighting against British, so next lifetime you become a Britisher. Will you come and ask the same? Will you come and ask brahmacharis to fight against British? Subhash Chandra Bose said no. Then he said, I appreciate your, but I will not give up. He's also, that type of people only become leaders. I appreciate what you're talking, but still I pursue. So Saraswati Thakur, he understood what is telling. Amazing point actually. If you become a Britisher, will you fight against British next life? He said no. Thank you for what you're telling, but still I'll fight against British. He left. So he didn't ask. Then Saraswati Thakur said, these are all skinny people. They will not, you need Kshatriyas. They will not fight. So what is that? Yeah. In the childhood, they would ask him, because India, they were trying to promote Christianity. Does anyone read Bible? At the age of 3rd grade, 4th grade, it's 8, 9-year-old. So he said, I read Bible. Oh, really? Amazing. He liked Bible? He said, it is no less than a Sakta of Hinduism. Shaktas, they worship God. Give me that, give me this, give me this. Christianity is like that only. That teacher was shocked at that age. He has that type of idea. He's able to compare by the content of Bible equating with some in Hinduism. How many of you understood? I purposely chose this point. He said this is equal to the Shakta mentality of Hinduism. Give me, oh my Lord, give me my daily bread, as though he doesn't have any other work other than starting all the bread factories. So, and what is that? I forget. The vice chancellor, the first day of the college, the freshers, the vice chancellor came. Actually, it is Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. He was the what, vice chancellor. Vice chancellor's position is very big. So he doesn't need to come and address people, freshers in the college. So he came and said very humbly, I don't speak about God because when I go there, whatever I've spoken may be different from what is there. That's why I don't talk about God, but he speaks about all this, what do you call, so-called prasadam, food distribution, that distribution, medicine distribution. So he was actually glorifying himself. Saraswati Thakur said, so he doesn't know there is a boy in the class who is very fiery. He said, so you're telling you don't speak about God because you don't know, then why you wrote in your books, God tumi nirakar? He got up and started addressing Vice Chancellor. He became very shy, because he never thought somebody in the audience has read his books. He quoted the God as impersonal action. So, so what is that? Throughout his life, he fought against impersonalism, atheism, and what is that? Caste Goswamism. That was his life actually. And today is a fasting day every day. Nobody's hungry, right? So then, when he was offered the chair of, astrology department in Calcutta University, he refused. But then it was given to somebody else. But those people, having joined hands with British, they were accepting the ideas of British. Saraswati Thakur became upset. And he said, let us have a public challenge. That person agreed. So what he did, he brought his guru, was very famous in Bengal that time. Saraswati Thakur, made his presentation in such a way. I'm sorry to say, it is mentioned by what is name, our Maharaj Bhakti. When the debate was going on, his debate, he was speaking so heavily, and the opposing party started urinating on the stage actually. and he left. That was the the power with which he would speak about the truth actually. um, and as he started preaching, he established 64 Gaudiya Maths and 64 Gaudiya Maths. And he believed in a Brihat Mridanga, printing press. He considered printing press as the Brihat Mridanga. How does the message go all over? You play Mridanga, only temple it is heard. Prabhupada took it from him actually, preaching. He has a desire to preach the message. Preaching also including print book distribution. Prabhupada actually says, what will you speak in 3 minutes, 5 minutes? If you give them a book, they will read, their life will change. So he considered that he has a Sajjana Toshani, a fortnightly Bengali magazine, also Harmonist, English fortnightly magazine, Gaudiya, a Bengali weekly, Bhagavat, Hindi fortnight in 2 weeks, and Nadia Prakash, daily newspaper, Kirtana, monthly in Assami, Paramardi in Oriya. This money, how many? 7. Sajjan Toshni and Harmonist, Gaudiya, Bhagavat, Nadia Prakash, Kirtan and Paramarthi. So one day somebody said, you're releasing a daily paper, Nadia Prakash. Eventually you'll run out of the information. He said in Bengal, Calcutta, there are so many newspapers. They don't have any shortage of news. Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has, millions of universes. Akilanda God Brahmanda Nayak. Unlimited number of crores of universes he is the owner. Why will I should become short of news? I will never become short of news. So that's how he continued printing this Nadia Prakash actually. And what is that? And he recommended devotees to read these books. One Chaitanya Bhagavat by Randandas Thakur, and Dasamula Tattva by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sri Krishna Bhajanamrita by Narahari Sarkar, Prem Bhakti Chandrika, Narottam Das Thakur. Actually, Saraswati Thakur liked two books, Prarthana and Prem Bhakti Chandrika. And, you know, and he also liked, apart from this, Prem Bhakti Chandrika and Prarthana, he liked Upadesh Amrita, Nectar of Instruction. Because only 11 verses, but if you apply, you will attain the perfection of life. So, what is that? One day he was in Mayapur chanting his rounds. Suddenly he felt like offering milk to Gaurnithai deities in the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. Then he thought he was chanting. I said, "No, why am I doing it? By this time the whole place is filled with water. How can somebody do that?" Is the power of his thought. In the afternoon, one person came and offered huge quantities of milk to the deity, and he left. And that was his power. And he established this 64 god image, 60,000 disciples initiated. What he would do those days, first initiation is 4 rounds. So how many of you liked it? So, Saraswati Thakur, he would, like Yatra, he would go from Navadvip to Puri. So Saraswati Thakur would travel. The train driver is his disciple. The train driver is his disciples. So all the disciples would board because Saraswati Thakur would give class. All the people would tell others, Saraswati Thakur would give class. And the train would stop everywhere. When the train would stop, the local villagers, they would come to do arati for him actually. And Saraswati Thakur, immediately when he would see people, and he would get on the train and he would lecture. He would give lecture. The people, his followers, they would bring the outsiders. They would be so impressed by his lecture, this, katha. They would also spontaneously decide to go Puri with them. And that's how they would get into the train. Then train is like a 9th month pregnant, fully. So Saraswati Thakur would speak. Sometimes when he would see the crowds, he would give lecture for 1-2 hours. Because a train driver is disabled, what is the problem? So by the time the train would reach 2 days late to Puri, and he would take all these train loads. So in this travel, so when he would get down in every station, all the people from train also would get down and listen to him. And they would be convinced in these 2 days to agree to convince to chant 4 rounds. He would take them to Puri Gaudimat and he would initiate all of them. Like probably every time, 2,000 people or 500 people, like that he would do that. So what is that? So many brahmacharis and that preaching mission, preaching ability, and actually one thing, he depended on Krishna. Amazing. Every time he would say, if Krishna's grace is there, we'll go to Yatra this year. If Krishna's grace is there, we'll go and start this Gaudiya Math. If Krishna's grace is there, we'll do that. Likewise, always he depended on Krishna. If Krishna's grace is there, if Krishna's grace is there. He never considered himself the doer. Amazing. What is that? Then yeah, he started establishing these muds. Then people started joining. Everyone started joining. Actually, the Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math. Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math actually had a disciple by name Jagabandhu Prabhu. I want everyone to hear. I need 15 more minutes. Jagabandhu Prabhu was his disciple, a rich man. He knew this is a Nayana Mani Manjari, glance of Radharani. Actually, the Gayatri mantra was actually given by Saraswati Thakur. You know, so he gave all the Gayatris, but he didn't give Gayatri of Guru because himself. Then later he agreed and he gave that action. So anyway, so Jagabandhu Prabhu, what he did, he sold his entire property, including his home, to build the temple. And Saraswati Thakur showered his blessings on Jagabandhu Prabhu. Actually, there are pictures because he didn't have home. Finally, Saraswati Thakur said, "You come and stay in the temple with us." And Jagabandhu Prabhu moved into the temple and actually died from the temple only. He didn't have any place, not even a penny. He loved his Guru so much, he sold everything. But the temple became a problem, actually. You know? Then what happened? Subramachari started occupying the rooms. There was a quarrel. What is the temple, Srila Prabhupada? I forgot now, but that's where Prabhupada met him upstairs. Voltatanga Junction Road. That's where Prabhupada met him actually. So Prabhupada met him and that's where Prabhupada got the instruction. Then later again, Prabhupada met him in the Koshi, that Brajmandal Parikrama. That time actually, no, Saraswati Thakur started using cars, he was using the amenities to propagate Krishna consciousness. These people, what they did not like it and they closed all the temples. The only temple that was open is actually Radharaman temple. Saraswati Thakur said, we see all the deities of Vrindavan in Radharaman temple actually. Radharaman temple was the only temple that was open. And he gave class on the Radhakund. Everyone thought, such an exalted devotee. Everyone thought he would give class on, the Rasa Tattva. But he started speaking bare philosophy. You're not this body, you're a spirit soul. But when everyone left, then he said, the Rasa Tattva is not the proprietorship of Sahajyas. It is also our proprietorship. Goal of life is not another than everything, but Ardha Pravritti. And then later he spoke at the end, but initially no. So what is that? Yeah, that's when Prabhupada, the last day, Prabhupada went, he identified Prabhupada actually. Identified Prabhupada and as a avid, as a very focused listener. And later, when he went to open a Gaudiya Math in Prayaga, Atulananda Brahmachari recommended Srila Prabhupada for initiation. And Saraswati Thakur said, "Oh, Abhay Babu, I recognized him as a focused listener. He attentively listens." I initiated. So Prabhupada received initiation, first and second on the same day, actually, in the same time. But then of this Bagh Bazar Gaudiya Math, that's when he met, in another yatra, they met on bank of Radhakund. Prabhupada was already initiated, he helped build Prayag, the Math in Prayag. He's also, eventually later, he helped in actually Gaudiya Math in Mumbai. So he said, Abhay Babu, Agun Jwalve, one day there will be fire in Math. And he didn't say many things. He said, whenever you have money, print books. Whenever you have time, preach in English language. Just 2 lines, that's it. Prabhupada told Amrish Prabhu, they were all there. So Prabhupada, there is a prediction. Who will build this Adbhut Mandir? Who will build this temple? Prabhupada said, Amrish will build. Everyone laughed as a joke. So Amrish Prabhu also laughed. And Prabhupada said that he left. He he did this groundbreaking ceremony and Prabhupada left. He left the world. But Amrish Prabhu understood, hey, I'm old now. My Guru Maharaj gave that instruction. So Amrish Prabhu took it very seriously. So the point is, Prabhupada took it very seriously, actually. These 2 instructions. These 2 instructions, Srila Prabhupada took it very seriously. And of course, Srila Prabhupada was in actually Puri. That's when he wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, I am a Grihastha and I don't have you're a sannyasi, you're always surrounded by sannyasis. Saraswati Thakur said, preach in English language. This will do good to you and the rest of the world. So 1931 or 32, he sent two of his disciples to the west. They came back, he said, I'm happy with not great results, but one day one of my disciples will go to the west and he'll spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And he looked in one direction. Who was sitting there? Govinda Shastri. Behind Govinda Shastri was Srila Prabhupada. Govinda Shastri was thinking, Saraswati Thakur is empowering me. But he didn't realize who was sitting behind him, Srila Prabhupada actually. So, what is that? I just want to I want everyone to please hear. To be able to observe the lofty position of Srimati Radharani and her confidential associates is not within the realm of a common people. Realm of common people. Only those who engage constantly in intimate, confidential, and eternal loving service to her understand the sacred truth. No one can fathom the mysteries and esoteric implications of such pastimes except her confidential associates. The day we link with this world is limited to the barest necessities. I want everyone to please hear. The day when our link with this material world is limited to the barest necessities. The day when our link with this world is limited to the barest necessities. When our trivial opinions, concocted austerities, pious works, so-called knowledge, and mystic power are considered worthless like straw. Everyone is listening? When our worship of Narayan is in the mood of his majesty is not relishable in the least. When we are not inclined at all to be outspoken in the controversial topics of divine pastimes like the rasa dance, only then will we be fit candidates to receive such confidential information. So this was actually, every word here is very powerful. Not like, okay, today these earrings are not there, that earrings, that. It's not that Krishna worship is very high. And who has the ability, who has the qualification? The day when our link with this material world is limited to the barest necessities. Actually, I'm not qualified, trust me. When our trivial opinions, concocted austerities, pious works, so-called knowledge, and mystic power are considered worthless like straw, when our worship of Narayan in his mood of majesty is not relishable in the least, when we are not inclined at all to be outspoken in the controversial topics of divine pastimes like rasa dance, only then will we be fit candidates to receive such confidential information. So, actually, Narendra Prabhu says this. One day, what is it? This group of reporters came and he started talking about the lineage. Our lineage is from Lord Chaitanya, Diksha and Siksha also. Diksha is actually Nidhyana Prabhu, Jahano Mata, Ananga Manjari. Jahanamata is Ananga Manjari, right? Jahanamata and so in that Dhyan Chand Goswami, further Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So we are actually also Diksha. We are also Siksha. Then he started talking about Ananga Manjari, Radharani, sister, and Ananga Manjari, and then by the blessings of Ananga Manjari, we should get the blessings of Rupa Manjari. Blessings of Rupa Manjari, we should get the blessings of, what is that? Rati Manjari. Rati Manjari is actually Raghunath Das Goswami. When he was explaining, suddenly he broke into tears and he ran and closed his door. And for 3 days, he did not come out of the room. Not eating, not sleeping, not even evacuating. He closed his door and he cried, he cried, he cried. So, he's actually a Siddha devotee from the spiritual world, Mani Manjari. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his father is actually Kamala Manjari. So, what is that? One more thing is, that's what he did actually. And the Prabhu says this, And one more thing is, these are his last instructions. One day before, few days before he left the world, he said this. With utmost enthusiasm, preach the message of Rupa and Raghunath. With the utmost enthusiasm, preach the message of Rupa and Raghunath. Our ultimate goal is to become a speck of dust of touching the lotus feet of followers of Rupa Goswami. All of you remain united in the allegiance to the spiritual master, Ashraya Vigraha, in order to satisfy the senses of the transcendental entity of non-dual knowledge. Do not give up the worship of Hari, even amidst hundreds of dangers, hundreds of insults, and hundreds of persecutions. Do not become enthusiastic upon do not become unenthusiastic upon seeing that the majority of the people in this world are not accepting the message of Krishna's sincere worship. Never give up the glorification of topics of Krishna. Actually, I thought, what is the first one? With the utmost enthusiasm, preach the message of Rupa and Raghunath. Everyone, with the utmost enthusiasm, preach the message of Rupa and Raghunath. Our ultimate goal is to become a speck of dust, touching the lotus feet of followers of Rupa Goswami. Of course, Raghunath Goswami included. Third one, all of you remain united in allegiance to the spiritual master in order to satisfy the senses of the transcendental entity of non-dual knowledge. He's telling, so first thing is, first is preaching, second is servant of the lineage parampara, third is stay united. Srila Prabhupada's statement, stay united. Guru is dear servant of Krishna. Do not give up the worship of Hari. Fourth one. Do not give up the worship of Hari, even amidst hundreds of dangers, hundreds of insults, or hundreds of persecutions. Never. So he's telling, don't give up the worship of Hari. Amazing. One day, this what is his name? This sub-inspector was offered 25,000 rupees. So don't do anything or don't get into this case. We are going to kill this gentleman. Oof. The sub-inspector came and told, we are bad people. We take bribes, but not in the case of sadhu. They are planning to kill you. Please. And Sir Thakur, because he was preaching so heavily, some people couldn't take it. One day he went for preaching in Bangladesh, and a group came and attacked. And then Srila Prabhupada's picture, what is that? Sannyas Guru. Bhakti Prajnan Keshav Maharaj. He went, and at that time he was actually brahmachari. They're going to kill you, so let us exchange our dress. At that time he was in white. So you give me your saffron, I'll wear your saffron, you wear white, you leave. And Saraswati Thakur said, I'll give you sannyas right now. He gave him sannyas in that position. Wow. So world is very unpredictable. You cannot take anything for granted. So Bhakti Prajnan Keshav Maharaj got sannyas at that time actually. As he gave saffron, he gave his sannyas also. He gave his dana also. So he never shirked and he never didn't give it, he never gave it up. And he pushed. I mean, even though there were dangers and insults and persecutions. Next one. Do not become unenthusiastic upon seeing that majority of the people in this world are not accepting the message of Krishna's sincere worship. So one day I thought of this actually. Why many people are not accepting when we say Akilan, what is that? Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. How many of you agree Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda is true? How? Huh? First of all, there are unlimited crores of universes are there. Every universe has one person at least. So that way Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda is true. Yes sir or no? So there actually, if you go to Rasasthali, Akilanda Koti Brahmana Nayak Krishna ka Rasasthali. So this person, this is the enjoyment arena of a person who owns the unlimited number of crores of universes. What is that? Akhila Anda Koti Brahmanda. Unlimited number of crores of universes. He is the owner of that person's enjoyment arena. So every universe, even definitely there is more than one. Environment itself, there are so many. So there are unlimited. So what is that? Anantakoti Vaishnava is perfect. Never give up the glorification of the topics of Krishna. They are your own personal bhajana and your very all and all. The last one. Being humble like a blade of grass, tolerant like a tree, constantly glorify Hari. So, one more point is, to just summarize. Obstacles will come. Obstacles are the friends. So don't expect easy victories. This path is paved with thorns. But obstacles on the path of devotion are the friends. Sadhaka means accept obstacles. Accept obstacles. So, what is that? Whenever somebody would go and distribute 2 magazines, he was so happy. He was very, very happy actually. And what is that? Srila Prabhupada took it so seriously, his mission. And Srila Prabhupada is the one who accomplished, what he wanted. How happy one time in Vrindavan, some devotee started spreading the message, Srila Prabhupada is Krishna. Prabhupada was actually in India that time. And this message reached Prabhupada. Who can change us? Prabhupada is actually Krishna. That's why he could bring this transformation. So Prabhupada said this. When he heard this, these people, their brains said they were actually bewildered. They should not stay in the temples. Their minds are contaminated. They should travel and preach. Then somebody asked, Prabhupada, then who are you? If you are not Krishna, then who are you? He said, I am servant of my Guru Maharaj. And that's when Prabhupada only wrote this pranam mantra. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashnaya Mutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamitanam Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravana Pracharane Nirse Shunyadi Paschadistara. In my early days of Krishna consciousness, I thought at least they are mentioning Goddess Saraswati name, I thought. You don't see anything about Krishna only. Narayan ka naam dikhte nahi idhar. Finally, at least Saraswati ka naam to dikh rahe. Then later I thought, that is not Saraswati, it is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So it is actually Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, So who are you? I am servant of my Guru Maharaj. I am servant of my Guru Maharaj, and so I am on his order. and spreading this message on his order actually. One thing we can appreciate Saraswati Thakur is actually what is that? Is a drive for preaching. Drive for preaching and Srila Prabhupada actually he said start this GBCs. He is the one who said that. One guru will not work. Have a group, come together as a group, but somehow it did not work. That one lesson we can learn. What is that? Saraswati Thakur said, have a group, council, and you promote. But they did not hear as soon as he left the war. There was a problem started. Luckily, Prabhupada was not part of it. As a growth outside. And Prabhupada was the one who established it. So, Kali Yuga, there is every reason to quarrel actually. There is every reason to quarrel, but as if we can overcome our the petty differences, then we can do a lot. So just one day before, this few days before, he said there should be 24-hour kirtan. One famous person came, famous kirtaniya with all the instruments. The moment he started, Saraswati Thakur said no interest. Call Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj and tell him to sing Sri Rupa Manjari Sada. No instruments, because you need bhakti actually. So Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj actually sang Sri Rupa Manjari Sada actually. He is the one who put Saraswati Thakur in Samadhi later. So early morning, 5 o'clock, all the clocks in Gaudiya Math stopped. Actually, New Year, January 1st early morning. So you can influence even the clocks actually. So anyway, the thing is, I'm repeating reading, I'm done, but I'll read them again. First thing is, with utmost enthusiasm, preach the message of Rupa and Raghunath. Our ultimate goal is to become the speck of dust touching the Lord's feet of Rupa and Raghunath, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Goswami. Always remain united in the allegiance of spiritual master to please Krishna. Do not give up the worship of Hari amidst dangers. And do not become unenthusiastic upon seeing that majority of people are not following this. And never give up the glorification of Krishna Katha. Never give up Krishna Katha. And the last one is Dasandas. Tranadapi Sanichana. This is what he spoke actually. Whenever Srila Prabhupada was asked to talk about Prabhupada, his Guru Maharaj, what can I speak about Guru Maharaj? My Guru Maharaj is a Vaikuntha man. That is, my Guru Maharaj is a Vaikuntha man. And I think 1975 Yas Puja, Srila Prabhupada started crying actually. My Guru saved me. Prabhupada said, again and again he came. Babu, take sannyas, take sannyas. Take sannyas? Yes, take sannyas. So Prabhupada says, my Guru Maharaj saved me, from this clutches of illusion. And you're all the representatives of my Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada had that humility to consider all the all these disciples as representatives of Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. So I'm sorry, what is that? I neither have any qualification nor do I have any realization. But if any one of you can apply, you'll go very far in your life. Because this is Saraswati Thakur. Hare Krishna. Slate. Any comment? Anyone has? Otherwise we'll end it. Sadhana is very important. The time is running out. Can I take 2 more minutes? If you read chapter number 30 and chapter 31. Chapter 31, I'll take only 2 minutes. I'm done. You're a spirit soul. We don't know this. We were put on to sleep. We entered the clouds. It rained. We fell in the fields. Either we fell in the brinjal or tomato or potato or a rice or meat, we don't know what we entered. And our father ate it. We entered in his body in the form of a semen. That's why the child who is going to come on the earth is based on father's mood at the time of eating prasad. That's why prasad is needed. Then at the mother's womb, first day we are like a tiny soul. Few hours later we are a chickpea size. First is seed and the chickpea size. Fourth day we are like a plum. And two legs will come. Two hands will come, two legs will come. It's all pain from first day to 9th month. Once it is done, we come out of it. We go through this 4 plus 3, 7 adhyatmika miseries. We are told is distant death. And again, so to collect elements around the soul in the form of hands and legs and heart is difficult. And two, at the time of leaving this world, now we have to get rid of these elements, which is very painful. Which is very painful. And you know, these 2 legs, 2 hands and 2 legs, they have to disintegrate. Whatever you see visible has to be disintegrated. If you have desires, again next birth. Fully Krishna conscious, only you'll go back to God. Elements coming together to give a body is actually painful. Elements segregating themselves to leave the body is also much more painful. In this world, in between the world, so many anxieties and so many frustrations and that problem, this problem. When we understand this, why we don't become serious? Why we don't become serious? Srila Prabhupada opened these Krishna houses, and that's what Kalkan Prabhu calls the houses. Prabhupada wanted this drug addicts to stay there only. You know, we all invest, and there is definitely nothing wrong investing on the domestic affairs. But the moment soul leaves the body, you become irrelevant to this world, not your children or not your money. You become irrelevant to everything. You go out of the jurisdiction of this world, actually. If you understand it, you become serious. How many of you agree? Saraswati Thakur came for that purpose. Prabhupada said, there are so many organizations. Some organizations speak about food distribution. Some organizations speak about medicines. There should be one organization that speak about pure bhakti. That is our organization. Yes, it's very difficult for people to give up, onion, garlic, alcoholism, all these things. That's okay. Truth is truth. Truth never changes. That's what I would do. I'll end it here. Thank you very much. And if everyone becomes serious in propagating the message of Lord Chaitanya, forget about who will come, who will not come. We will become Krishna conscious that day. When you preach, you hear. Others hear or not, that is their problem. You hear. If you don't, actually, I know, I want to take 1 more minute. Well, you know why I make people dance? Not that I have any crazy thing. People come and stand and children is sleeping, that problem. Our mind will drift there also. You agree or not? So at least if you make them dance, that much everyone is looking at me. I hope I'm dancing nicely. For the pleasure of Krishna, at least you'll focus on your movements. I'm serious. I've seen standing right in front of Radha Gopjanalva, your mind will drift away. The morning 5 o'clock, right? Tamagun is coming inside. Hare Krishna. No. So if you understand this, you become serious. Trust me. Chanting, it's impossible to focus. Kali Yuga minds. Prabhupada said that. You can focus in Kirtan. You can definitely focus in prasad. You'll be fully absorbed in prasad. No, I'm serious. But say the prasad mantras nicely. You know, and you can focus on association. Talk about Krishna. Don't talk about others. Only talk about Krishna. Because when others, especially peers, when they speak, you listen. You have that nature. You cannot be, uh, you cannot ignore them. Otherwise they'll go away actually. And that you listen, or others, what is he knowing better than I do? So you let, or reading, of course, there is no substitute for reading Srila Prabhupada books, of course. Reading, you can focus, of course. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nirandara Srimad Bhagavatam.